coverage you can count on. This is On the Record with Barbara Gaucher.
And joining us now is Columbus mayoral candidate Joanne Cogle, a local businesswoman and current city councilor. Joanne, thank you so much for being with us on the record today.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Well, you are in the runoff for mayor with former city manager Isaiah Hugley. You received 25% of the vote, or right around 9,000 votes or so, just over 9,000. So talk about that. What do you do between now and the runoff day, June 16th, to get voters to come back out to vote, for more of them to vote for you?
Yeah.
And what happens between now and then?
Well, not much different. We're still out there running strong and getting people who have voted and who have not voted back to the polls, and getting our message across, getting my message across, and making sure that people stay informed, and asking them to be their second choice.
Yeah. Summarize your message, Joanne, to people.
Well, I think Columbus is a very, I think it has a lot of opportunity and a lot of potential, and I truly believe that Columbus can be the safest city in the state of Georgia, the best place to do business in the state of Georgia. And that is going to take some bringing us up to speed with technology, and with some better practices within our city government, but also listening to our citizens and making sure that we know what they need and what they want to prosper.
Yeah, certainly lots on the line with this election. If you win, you become the second woman elected as mayor of Columbus.
Yes, ma'am.
What does that mean to you?
Well, I think it's a message for a lot of young girls out there that they can do whatever they want to put their heads to, but I don't think that it necessarily needs to be tied into a male-female opportunity. It's really, this is about leadership, and this is about providing the leadership to move Columbus forward.
All right. So when we talk about your background, your leadership roles, I mentioned on the city council for 3 years, right?
Yeah, coming up, this is the end of my fourth.
End of your fourth year.
Yeah.
Also a businesswoman. Talk about your experience in those roles and others, and how that prepares you to be mayor.
Yeah, well, it's been a wild ride. I have been on city council now for almost 4 years. Had a lot of experience with city council with my business. Had to go to city council for about a year to clear up some indiscrepancies that I had with a zoning issue. And so I've seen both sides as a business owner, as a civilian, or as a citizen. And I've also seen the backside as a city councilor. And there are needles that need to be moved forward in both directions, as far as how the citizens perceive our government and how council can better serve council and the mayor's office and our city manager's office, how we can better serve the citizens of Columbus.
Is there anything that comes to mind during your time here on city council that you've been involved in, or that you spearheaded in terms of some type of ordinance or policy that exemplifies your leadership abilities, and points to why you make a good mayor?
Yeah, I think one of the biggest things that we've worked on here on council is our corrective care situation, where we saw a giant need within our city to address our homeless and our mental health issues that we have. And we moved I'm on the correct care committee, and we moved the resources from our community care funds to help our fire department come together and create some of these extra vehicles, if you will, that go out and address our mental health clients and citizens, rather than putting the load on our first responders. And so that has made a significant impact on how 911 is responding, how their response time, as well as the care that we're able to give our citizens.
Your time on council has not been without controversy. Specifically, last year, you were one of 7 councilors who voted to fire Isaiah Hugley as city manager. So how did that decision come about for you? And do you think it changed the dynamics of the council, city government, the relationship in any way?
I mean, that's a tough question. You know, from my perspective, I'm kind of surprised that it took as long as it did. There's a bunch of outstanding things that have happened in our city that, as a business owner, I would not want that type of leadership leading my business as a CEO or a CFO. And, you know, from undeposited checks and undeposited funds to directors that had questions brought against them, legal questions brought against them, and departments that were just failing. And so from my perspective, to have that type of leadership in our city is not how I would run my business, and not how I think our citizens deserve to be served.
And many say that whole issue was divisive, even for just the city in general. Do you think that was the case, and how do you bridge that if you're elected mayor? How do you bring people together?
Yeah, well, it's never it's never easy to fire somebody. So, I mean, I think that's if you're in any business at all, it's never a feel-good moment when you have to let somebody go and change the trajectory of their life. And so, you know, there is some mending that needs to be done, and I think it takes somebody that's willing to stand in the gap and provide the opportunity for citizens to be heard, for citizens who don't feel like there's transparency in our government, to heal that process and be honest and open with them, and be able to hear both sides, and stand in a neutral position. And so it's going to take a lot of work, but it will also take citizens being open-minded as well, to move that portion of our city forward.
Yeah. In 1 or 2 sentences, Joanne, what is the biggest difference between you and your opponent that matters to voters? I've over the last 4 years on city council, but also while I've been here in the community, I've shown up for our community. I've been out in, I don't necessarily hide in an office. I am willing to go out into our community, talk with people, hear people, work with people, get my hands dirty with people. And I think when it comes down to it, at the end of the day, people want to see you, and they want to be heard. And it's not necessarily, we don't always have to be on the same page, and we don't always have to agree. But I think when it comes down to it, I think the importance of hearing what people have to say is a deciding factor. Yeah. Let's get to the issues. What are your 3 top priorities, and some solutions for those?
Well, I think we can have a better and more efficient government when it comes to doing business here in Columbus. A lot of our processes are antiquated and done with pen and paper when they should be able to do things online. I think our infrastructure needs to be maintained better, from our jail to our Parks and Recreation Department, and our city needs to be cleaned up, and we need to have a better, cleaner city to present to visitors, to prospective business owners, and to our citizens. Our citizens deserve to live in a clean environment.
If elected mayor, one of your first orders of business may be to hire a new police chief, as Chief Stoney Mathis has said that he planned to resign sometime early next year. Your thoughts on that process, and who should lead, and crime fighting in general, how things are going in Columbus?
Yeah, we have Stoney has done a really great job. We have some really great leaders in our law enforcement offices, from the sheriff's department to the prison to Homeland Security, and all of those individuals work really, really well together. So it's very important to me that this next police chief is able to work with all the entities. But when it comes down to it, the mayor ends up being the head of public safety and makes that decision. And I believe that we need to continue in the trajectory that we're going with lowering crime here in Columbus, Georgia, and that we can't afford to go backwards. We can't afford to go back to where we were 3 years ago when we made that leadership change. And so this next police chief decision is a very, very important decision, and it's one that I don't take lightly. And it needs to be somebody who is willing to work with our citizens with proactive policing, but also make sure that we're moving the needle forward in crime prevention.
Final question. On day one, what is the first order of business if you are Mayor Joanne Cogle?
Well, I think that doesn't start January 1st. I think that starts on June 17, and I think that starts with, as you know, we have a potential new city manager that's coming in, and I think that starts with a conversation of what is that city manager's priorities for the city. Do they align with my priorities of the city, and do they align with our council? We have several council members, so I think there's a lot of communication that needs to happen immediately to make sure that we're building a good representation of what the citizens need to move forward in Columbus.
Joining us now on the record is Columbus mayoral candidate Isaiah Hugley, former Columbus city manager, the longest serving city manager in Columbus history. Welcome. Thanks for being with us.
Well, thanks for having me, Barbara.
All right. So you were the top vote getter in the primary. On May 19th, you received about 45% of the vote. That's just over 16,000 votes. Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
What do you do now between now and the runoff on June 16th to get your message out there and to get voters back to the polls to vote for you again?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me again. It will be boots on the ground, of course. We're going to be doing wave-bys. I've got a team, they call themselves The Movement, and they're excited, and so we're going to be doing that. We're going to be doing text messaging. We're going to be doing phone banking. We've got television advertisement on the various television stations. We've got radio advertisement on the various radio stations. We're meeting with various organizations, groups. We're pushing hard, boots on the ground, and we're excited that we were the first place vote getter, if you will, with 17,000 votes roughly, and we were 7,000 roughly more votes than our closest opponent, and so we're excited. We've got to get people back out to the polls, and we're working hard to get that done.
What is the message that you are sending out to people? What's your message? What do you want them to know as they're making the decision here?
Well, it's pushing the message that we've pushed before. I am the only candidate in this runoff with proven experience, with proven leadership. I'm the only candidate who knows how to put together a $300 to $400 million annual operating budget. I'm the only candidate in this race who has provided oversight over $1.2 billion in capital roads and infrastructure projects in recent years, and in my tenure, more than $3 billion in capital roads and infrastructure projects. Experience matters, and I am able to go to work day one for the people of Columbus, Georgia, and I look forward to being the next mayor.
Can you tell us anything specific, Isaiah, when you think about all those years as city manager, 20 plus years, right? And
yes.
40 years in city government. Is there one specific incident or leadership initiative that you can point to and say, here's why you should vote for me?
Well, what I would point to is the improvement in the quality of life. We're the candidate that worked with people to make sure that we got the whitewater rafting, 2.5 miles of whitewater rafting. I'm the only candidate who has been around for 60 miles of walking, biking, jogging trail. I'm the only candidate who has done capital roads and infrastructure projects that make a difference, like the diversion diamond at Bradley Park Drive, or the Buena Vista Road diversion diamond, a new interchange at Casita Road and 185, the bridge over the railroad crossing at Buena Vista Road, the list goes on. And so when you've provided the oversight and taken responsibility for those kinds of projects that have added to the quality of life, I'm the candidate that worked with the team to bring baseball back to Columbus, Georgia. And I was excited at opening day to see it was a sellout. You couldn't get tickets. I'm the candidate that's going to make sure that we bring back the Liberty Theater and bring it back strong. I'm the candidate who's going to think big about bringing I-14 interchange through, or interstate through Columbus, Georgia. I'm the candidate who's thinking big about high-speed passenger rail from Columbus to Atlanta and beyond. And so that's why people need to look at who has demonstrated the ability to lead, to guide, and to make Columbus what it is. I'm the candidate that made sure that we, in 2024, was the 12th best run city in all of the United States of America. And the only other city on that list was Atlanta, and they were like 125. In 2025, we're the 20th best run city in all of America. Yeah. Now, opponents, the opponent would try and won't talk about that. They're going to play that down, but that's something to be proud of, and people are looking at us all over the state of Georgia and beyond and visiting us and saying, how did you do it? I'm the one who's built public-private partnerships. And so those are reasons.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about this, kind of springboarding off of what you're talking about. Of course, your tenure as city manager, many accomplishments, but not without controversy. Last year, City Council voted 7-3 to fire you.
Yes.
This following an ongoing feud between you and them concerning your leadership and the leadership of departments under your supervision, yeah. Specifically finance and animal control. Talk about how all of that, your message to voters about how all of that played out, how it impacted you and your run for mayor.
Well, and let me just say, you said, and my run for mayor. The word was out that I was going to retire, and that had been known since December 2022. And the word was out that I was going to run for mayor. And so what you witnessed was politics over progress. You witnessed orchestrated effort to keep me from running for mayor. But I think that energized the people who support me, and I think that's why I was the first place vote getter and led by 7,000 more votes than my opponent, who was part of that orchestrated effort to fire me. And I think that is why we have a people-powered campaign, and that is why we are going to win, and Isaiah Hugley will be the 71st mayor of Columbus, Georgia. It was politics or progress. When you talk about all of those things, when you run big business, we've got 3,300 employees. We've got a budget of $400 million. We've got Capital Roads infrastructure of $1.2 billion. The only CEO, if you will, or COO in this community who can compare to what I've had to manage would be a TSYS or an AFLAC or a Fort Benning or a school district. And so when you run organizations as large as mine, or the one that I've run, and my opponent has never run an organization anything close to this magnitude, but when you run an organization this size, you're going to have some challenges. You're going to have some challenges. And when you have those challenges, the key is, what do you do about them? Can you turn those challenges into opportunities? Can you turn those challenges into progress? Can you turn those challenges into change? And I submit to you that Isaiah Hugley did that and can do that, will do that, and that is why I'm the best candidate, and we are going to lead this city forward.
One or two sentences. What is the biggest difference between you and your opponent that matters to voters' everyday lives?
Well, it's experience, it's leadership, it's relationships that have been built that can deliver what we are looking for in terms of affordable housing, taking care of our veterans, in terms of advocating for them because of the relationships, taking care of our homeless because we know who to work with and partner with. the public-private partnerships that we've built.
If you are elected, you will become the first elected African American mayor of Columbus. What does that mean to you?
Well, it means a lot. This city has been here since 1828, and when you look at the demographics, you would think that we would have had an African American mayor before now. It's been done in Atlanta, Albany, Montgomery, Birmingham, Mobile, Memphis, New Orleans, you name any of the cities in the South where Dr. King marched and where the fight went on for voting rights and civil rights. They've had African American mayors, even in Selma, Alabama, but we have not in Columbus, Georgia. But Albany, Macon, all these other cities, Savannah, Augusta, all have. And so it's time. I believe, and I think the people are fired up, and not because I'm African American.
Right.
They're fired up because I'm the most qualified person in this race, in this runoff, to be mayor, and that's evident. Look at the resumes, and you will see that.
I just want to get real quick to your 3 top priorities and how you're going to address that. And I'd like to have you talk about crime and a new police chief, because likely that might be one of your first orders of business if elected, is to select a chief, because Stoney Mathis has said he will likely retire soon.
Yeah, so unity is a very high priority for me. We've watched the division, the chaos, the distraction, and all that's going on, the lack of civility around that city council table, the lack of dignity and respect in how they treat department heads and employees, and even people on public agenda. When you have people getting up out of their seats and turning the back of the chair to clergy and citizens and walking out because they don't want to hear what they've got to say, we've got to change that. We are better than that. We are bigger than that. So unity, civility, dignity, respect. We've got to take care of our employees, public safety, and general government employees. And so that is a high priority for me. And beyond that, we've got to take care of the citizens of Columbus. Columbus, Georgia citizens first. And so we're going to do things like a 180-day plan when I take office, and we want better roads, and we want safer parks, and we want stronger neighborhoods. And so I want to work on the whole package at least, and get us on the right track, that we have people calling us like they used to do, and say, I want to come and see you guys because you're doing something that no one else is doing, and I want to come and see you.
I'm sorry, we're out of time. 10 seconds left. Day one, what is your first order of business as Mayor Isaiah Hugley?
Mayor Isaiah Hugley will convene the city officers, department heads, and we'll talk about the 180-day plan, and we'll talk about our way forward. One goal, one future, one Columbus. Columbus, Georgia citizens first. Let's go, Columbus. Let's get this done.